So whenever a new employee is hired into an organization, the HR with the network or the IT team will create like a kind of onboarding account, call it onboarding account for the individual hired. And during that process, if for instance, Mr. A is hired into, let's say into the data analytics department, the manager at the data analytics department will work with the IT team and the human resource team to give Mr. A all the necessary permissions, the application it will have access to, the server it needs to have access to, all the components and all the services and products that Mr. A needs to do it, get his job done. They will provide access based on the permission, authorized permission given by each manager. In some instance, some organization might need like a kind of a top level approval. So whenever the onboarding ticket is being created, the IT team, or yes, the IT team will ask, do you want us to mirror this individual account as the manager's account? The manager will say yes. What do I mean by mirror? For instance, if the manager to Mr. A has access to the SharePoint site, has access to Ultrix, has access to Power BI, have access to Microsoft Access. I'm just trying to give an example. All the assets that the manager had, existing assets, will be mirrored as Mr. A's access. That's how Mr. A's account will be commissioned into the Active Directory system that is housed in the Microsoft Azure environment. So that's that. So if Mr. A, for instance, is given a permission to be able to use a Power BI service, so we have Power BI integrated services. That means Mr. A will be given uh, a permission. If Mr. A is a developer, like an analyst, then he will be given different access. He will have a top level access like an admin access. It's going to be the one to create the report, and it's going to be the one to determine who's going to access what on the Power BI service side of the project. I'm going to show you everything. So that is how it works. Before you can use a Power BI service or use a publish to a Power BI environment in an organization, one, you need to be a commissioned member, an active member in that tenant, in that environment, in that organization. Because once an employee gets, I can't get decommissioned. What I mean by I can't get decommissioned when the customer, when the employee is fired or transition to another job or transition to another department within the organization or is leaving that organization. The account has to be decommissioned. So whenever the account is decommissioned, the employee will not be able to access the Power BI environment again. Because this is the thing. Let me know if you can see my Power BI platform. Can you see my Power BI GUI, the Power BI desktop? Please give me a thumbs up if you can see it, just for me to make sure that I carry everyone along. Please give me a thumbs up, please.
It's the Word document that is showing now.
Oh, okay. This is what I want. I think that's what happened yesterday. I have to. Okay. I think I have to share the screen. I'm only sharing the document. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So, for instance, if you have a commission account with an organization, do you see the sign in? The sign is going to be at Mr. A at, maybe you're working with, let's say you're working with Samsung, Mr. A at Samsung.com. Once you sign in with your valid employee's account, then that gives you an access to what? that gives you an access to the type of Power BI license that has been assigned to you. So for the Power BI licensing, we have 3 types. The basic version is what I just showed you. That is what we're using right now. But for the Power BI Pro, the Power BI Pro has some limitation, and the Power BI Premium is the ultimate. Can you see the Power BI Premium for one dedicated storage resource and cloud computing facility? Is a cloud-based environment. You'll be able to publish more. It has more storage capability, and this cloud, it supported cloud computing. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to be my discussion, my explanation. I'm going to be flipping through, or probably going through of the sub heading or the subtitle just to make things clearer. So the Power BI Pro is available as a subscription of this. You can try at 60-day free, blah, blah, blah. This plan for Power BI Pro includes tools for data collaboration, a 360 real-time view for dashboard, data governance, and the freedom to publish report anywhere. That's the Power BI Pro. But if you go to, if you put in the difference between the Power BI Pro and the Power BI Premium in Google, you'll be able to see the difference between the two. But basically, the one we are using right now is the basic version. It's desktop, just the desktop version. It's free of cost and includes tools for data visualization, data preparation, data modeling, data cleansing, publishing report to the Power BI service. Of course, we can get a Power BI service free of charge as well, which we're going to demonstrate in this class. So basically, we are using the basic version for our explanation. But the next higher version or license for Power BI is Power BI, and the top one is the Power BI Premium. So this might be an interview question. They might ask you in your previous job, what licensing type are you using for your Power BI job, application or project? You can say, okay, I use Power BI Premium or I use Power BI Pro. So they might ask you what is the difference between the Pro and the Premium. So this is it. And let me tell you something. These are just viewpoints. But if you really want to know the difference between the Power BI Pro and the Power BI Premium, you can Google it and put it online, and you'll be able to see the difference, the limitation, and the strength of each of this. So that's that. So based on that, you will use your organization email address to log into this. And by the time you log into this, then that means you will be able to do what? You'll be able to connect directly to your organization database using the get data. I'm going to get there as well, because I just want to take things slowly. The importance of signing using your, because this is the thing. Let me step by a little bit. Once your organization purchases a Power BI license from Microsoft, the IT guy, they're going to assign or probably add you to the license. So we also have a Power BI admin. Someone has to be the Power BI administrator in your organization. In my organization, we have a dedicated someone for that. So whenever they purchase the license, or probably they want to increase the license, they have to buy that and add you to it. So that's that. So you have to, it's a must that you have to be added to the Power BI licensing portal before you will be able to log into this. Do you get what I'm saying? In a real life, if you downloaded the Microsoft Power BI desktop with your email address, it's still you can insert your email address into this. But since you are just using it as a user, as an individual, then you don't have any organization database that is attached to your Gmail account. In the case of, let's say at Samsung.com, Samsung is going to have a lot of data repository, right? They're going to have so with this, your username, you'll be able to connect to different data sources within that organization. That's the difference between that. Because someone might ask me, okay, fine. but you didn't sign into anything, but you are able to do some data cleansing, manipulation, and the likes, and extraction, ETL process. Fine. I can only use any data set in my Excel spreadsheet right now. And the Excel spreadsheet have to be on my computer desktop. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is the thing. For the sake of this class, we don't have any database. But I will try and figure out if there is a way we can connect to our AdventureWorks 2019 database. If there is a way, then we should be able to pull in data directly into this. So I will try that during the week. And if we are able to establish a connection directly into that, that's going to be so very lovely. I think I'm going to love that a little bit. Because we'll be able to build our relationship. When we get there, I'll show that to you as well. So if not, that means I will open the SQL Server and try to build, I'll try to run a query as a table. And that table, I'll do the select all and bring the output of that query into this Power BI desktop. Let me see. I think if you have a question, it should. Okay. So, Mr. Fash, you can also research into that. If you find a shortcut to do that, you can send it to me so that I won't have to research and waste a lot of time on that. Because I also want to learn anyways, because the best way I do that is that if you know someone that knows something, instead of you wasting your time trying to learn that, let that person teach you. And that is the best way to learn. So that you'll be able to use your hours for something else. And I think at this point, it is very important if you guys can allow me, there is a existing group. Do you want me to add your numbers to that group as well? If it is okay with you, then we can always interact and have a group where we can communicate via WhatsApp for everyone. Please, if you are interested in that, please give me a thumbs up because we have an existing group already. Before I proceed, so that I can note down your name and add you to it. Okay. Are you on the call? Do you want me to add you to it? Larry, do you want me to add you to the group? Just give me a thumbs up so that I can know. Madam Fumi, do you want me to add you to the group?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Please go ahead.
So have we downloaded this Power BI desktop for us, or you're just still working on how to do it?
Yeah, so I will show you how to do it. I can do like a very short video. I just send it to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's very easy to download anyway. I will do a short video and send it to you. So are you on the call? Do you want me to add? Okay, Larry say yes. And okay. So let's proceed. So now we've established that we need an organization approved commission username that is attached to the organization domain to connect directly to the all other organization data repository databases. That's what I mean. The SharePoint is also a database. Some organizations store their data set in SharePoint. And when we get to that site, I will show you as well. But you need to be connected to the domain, log into the organization domain before you'll be able to pull a shared resources. What do we call shared resources in an organization? You need to be a member of an organization before you can share anything there, before you can even listen to their intelligence information, before you'll be able to pull sensitive data, right? So in an organization, once they created an email account for you, that is what you will use to log into your Power BI service and sign into your Power BI desktop. So that is that. So let's go to here. So Power BI is a cloud-based business analysis and intelligence service by Microsoft. It's a connection of business intelligence and data visualization tools such as software, services, application, and data connectors. So let me show you something before I proceed. So when I say data connectors, if you click on your get data, can you see? These are all data sources. We have the Excel. So if we are using a Power BI desktop that is not with your own individual account, the best you could pull is from Excel workbook on your desktop. But I will still research if we will be able to establish a connection directly to the SQL server that we use for our SQL SQL classes. So I will do that while Mr. Fash will also research on his own part if we are able to establish a connection, and anyone can also try it as well. But I will do that on my own part as well. So we can also connect to Power BI dataset. How do we have Power BI dataset? I will show you what a Power BI dataset is. Whenever we are publishing a data to the Power BI service, let me show you this real quick so that you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is a Power BI service. The Power BI service is always online. It's a cloud-based platform, right? The Power BI service is when you do www.powerbi.com. If your organization have a Power BI service in place, once you log into that, you will see some other applications that have been published into the service, but you might not be able to access a workspace in the service if you don't have any application there already. Whenever we build an application from this Power BI desktop and we are publishing, can you say it says publish, right? Can you say this publish is grayed out? And we are publishing to the Power BI service. Two things is going to that Power BI service. The visual, which is going to be here, and the Power BI data set that has been transformed. The both of them going to be published in the service. When I will get there, I'll show that to you as well. You know, whenever we are pulling data from Excel, we will write some DAX expression, we do some data manipulation, right? Once we do that data manipulation and we build a visual, whenever we are publishing to the Power BI service, we are publishing two things. The visuals and the data set that is powering that visual. So let me show you this. Yeah, this is our Power BI desktop. And our Power BI desktop can pull data from different sources. Can you see? Collection of data sources. So the sources are listed here. Can you see? So let me do more. Can you see? These are the Power BI can connect to so many things, but you need to have an approve and permission to connect to the data source. For instance, you need to have a valid permission to access a particular SQL server, to access a particular Oracle, to access whatever database your organization is using. Can you even see this is SurveyMonkey? I don't know if any one of you have used SurveyMonkey. I use it a lot. Can you see this? This is SolarWinds Service Desk. The SolarWinds Service Desk is an SIEM. Mr. ID, can you tell me what SolarWinds is? You should be able to answer this question. You are a cybersecurity guy. Do you have an idea what SolarWinds Service Desk is?
I've not used it too.
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you what SolarWinds Desk is. Just for you to know that Power BI is one of the data analytics tools in the world that is trending right now. The SolarWinds Service Desk is a platform where it's like a cybersecurity tool for incident and event management. Security incidents for event and management, whatever. SIEM, whatever. This is one of the products that can be used to track all the network activity within and outside the tenet of our organization. within and outside the domain of an organization. So SolarWinds is going to track all the activities that the computer, any resources that is accessing a particular domain in an organization, their IP address, the site they are accessing, whatever. So this service desk is like a kind of a database that stores all the information in form of what? In form of a relational data table. By now, I believe everyone should know what a relational data table is. A relational data table is like a table in Excel. Do you get what I'm saying? So all the table we are pulling from here, using all these different sources, is going to come into Power BI like a table. Power BI can only interact with relational database objects, table. You can't pull textual data set into Power BI. It might be. I've not tried that, because instead of doing textual mining in Power BI, I would rather use other technology. I'm not saying Power BI will not be able to do that. I've not tried it. Basically, I use Power BI to build visuals, and I do a little ETL in Power BI before I do my visual. So don't let us digress. So let me show you something again. This is the ODBC. This is Open Database Connection. Maybe you want to connect to a particular database. You can set up, you can pull data using the Open Desktop database connection. You can use a Python script. You can use an app script. You can use Hive. You can use Spark. You can use Adobe. You can use Microsoft Exchange. Maybe you want to pull maybe all the name. Like, can you see Active Directory? Can you see Active Directory? The Active Directory is a platform that contains all the names and the credentials of each employee in an organization. Maybe you want to pull a data that contains the organization employee Active Directory. You can connect to that and pull a particular table from it. Can you see we also have the SharePoint list? And when we get to Alteryx, I'll also show you, we also have a SharePoint list in Alteryx. SharePoint is also a Microsoft product as well. So there are so many ways we can connect, we can get in data, we can pull data. Can you see this is Salesforce report? This is Google Analytics. This is Adobe Analytics. Can you see we can pull different things into the Power BI? So these are the connectors that we can use to pull data into Power BI. So that is that. And once you select that, then you click connect. But I'm just trying to show you the basic, and you see it's all highlighted everything for us. So anything outside this, I believe the ODBC connection should be able to handle it, because it is an open database connection. And this OLADB is for Oracle. Oracle use OLADB connection to pull data from Oracle to all the pens. At times, I use ODBC to connect into the PeopleSoft financials and the PeopleSoft database at times at my place of work. So that's that. So we have the files. These are the files that we can pull into the Power BI desktop. We have the XML, we have the PDF, we have the whatever SharePoint folder, the text CSV, and the XML. Basically, I have to be sincere with you. I've only used the Excel micro workbook and the SharePoint folder. Most times, I haven't tried all these remaining ones, but most times, your input data is going to be in form of Excel workbook, and the SharePoint folder also come. What is stored in the SharePoint side is always in form of a table. It's pretty very close. And let's check the database. So these are all the databases that the SQL can pull from. You can see we have the Microsoft Access database, we have the SQL Server database, we have the Oracle database, we have the IBM, we have the Informix database, we have the Netezza, we have a lot of them. We have the HANA database. So the HANA database is an SAP database. We have the Amazon Redshift. Yes, I've worked with Amazon Redshift very well. So it's pretty very similar. And we have the Microsoft Fabric preview. And so we have the Lakehouse. All these are still in the preview. actually. So this is how to connect to a data warehouse and pull data directly. The data mart is kind of getting obsolete. This is actually the precedent right now, the lake houses. The lake houses supported structured, textual, Internet of Things, and analog data. This is actually the almighty right now. I see most organizations are working towards deploying a lake house. Once you have a Microsoft product environment, like your Azure and everything is Microsoft, then the best warehouse you have to go for is the lake houses. I'm learning this right now. So that's that. So we have Power Platform. Power Platform is also a Microsoft product. And the output of a Power Platform, any application built using the Power Platform is also a relational data table, is a table. Then we have the Azure. Okay, so we have the Azure environment and so many things, Azure Databricks and the likes. Another thing I want to tell you is this: you don't have to get confused with all this. Because with the emergence and the evolution of technologies, we need to have a focus as a human being, unless you can get yourself confused and in the process you get lost. And by so doing, it will be like a time wasted and you will not even be productive to yourself. Like myself, whenever I see anything Azure, if I have no reason to use it, I won't even use it. Most times I only use Azure SQL database. And what is Azure SQL database? It's just a cloud-based version of SQL Server, SQL database. Anything Azure is cloud-based. So that's that. So the online services, and so we have SharePoint Online, blah, 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 blah. We have a lot of them. And we have other as well. So that is that. Do you have any question before I proceed? So let's go to our workbook. So we can use the data set imported into Power BI for data visualization analysis by making shareable reports, dashboard, and application. So let me explain what the report is and the difference between shareable reports, dashboard, and application. So a dashboard is what we built here, right? Power BI dashboard here. Once you publish it and share it with someone else, it becomes a report. Power BI report. It means it has been published, right? But whenever you are using it, once you publish it to the app, each of that report becomes an application. Let me show you something. This is a Power BI desktop. We build the dashboard here and we publish into the Power BI service. And whenever we are publishing into the Power BI service, a Power BI gateway needs to be set up by the company IT team or the server team. This is the gateway is what is going to handle the auto refresh for whatever you have built here. Just let me plug my laptop. It's going to break a little. So we build our dashboard on the Power BI desktop. We pull from the collection of data sources that I've just shown you, and we publish to the Power BI service. When we are publishing to the Power BI service, there must be a Power BI gateway. And what the gateway does is this. The gateway is going to be pulling, if you are using a SQL server, right? The server team or the network team, your organization is going to create a gateway for you. I have never created a gateway by myself. The Power BI administrator is going to be the one in charge of this, the one that oversees the Power BI tenant or something, to ensure that whenever you are publishing your report to the Power BI service, they have to check if there is a gateway in place that matches the data you are pulling from the SQL server. There must be a gateway. This gateway is what holds the updated value that is pulling from your SQL server. And that is when you'll be able to set when you want the time you want your Power BI reports to refresh. You know, we are creating this dashboard with an intention of automation, right? The automation means once you create your dashboard, you don't want to be coming back and be doing a manual refresh. This Power BI gateway is going to be the one that's going to handle the remaining work for you. And each time you get to job, or maybe probably like 9 a.m. and you log into your Power BI service, then you should be able to see the most recent data that has been updated by the Power BI gateway. So for us to publish from the Power BI desktop, a gateway have to be in place to handle the automation, to handle the auto refresh. And from here, like myself, there's some people use their personal phone to connect to their company's domain. So by so doing, if the two-way authentication have been set up just to make sure that your whatever device, your BYOD, what is BYOD? Bring your own device. Let me use this just for the sake of so we call something BYOD. Call it BYOD. It means bring your own device. Your own devices, like in my organization, my company will give you a brand new iPhone. If that's what you want, right? If you like that, like myself, I don't like holding two phones. So I told them to monetize it for me. So they always give me $50 every month. But in the case you don't want to use your organization device, if you are bringing your own device, you just know what, I'm a fan of Samsung. I don't use Apple. My organization, they give you the recent Apple. I don't want to do Apple. I just want to do Samsung. So if you are bringing any device that is not given to you by an organization, it is always time bring your own device, and a two-way authentication is going to be set up for it to make sure that you don't compromise the sensitive data of that organization. Also, my organization, we use our Microsoft laptops generally. That's what everyone uses. So if you want to use a MacBook, the MacBook is also bring your own device. It has to pass the two-factor authentication before you'll be able to access the organizational resources. So that is that. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to establish is that you can check your Power BI application, by just connecting directly by putting www. Okay, we even have the Power BI application on the phone. I want to believe we should have something like that. You can download that on your Apple or whatever on your Samsung, and just connect directly to your Power BI service. Then you'll be able to even see the dashboard or the application on your phone. You can see we have phone now, we have the computer. So that means we can pull the application that has been published in the Power BI service. We can pull it, or we can probably see that on our mobile phones on our computers. That's how that works. So that shows the Power BI desktop can pull from cloud-based database. It can pull from on-prem. Okay. So can someone tell me the difference between the on-prem and the cloud-based database? We have the on-premises database, and we have the cloud-based database. Can someone tell me the difference between the two?
Yeah, the on-prem is your data center you have with you that is not in the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the cloud one is definitely not within the environment.
So which of the two is more cheaper and easy to scale?
Is in cloud.
Okay.
I think elasticity.
Yeah, elasticity, flexibility, and scalability. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So the on-premise database a database that you have on site. Let's say on site in your data center. You have, okay, we have a data center at our office in so. But instead of, let's say over time, the volume of data in your organization keep growing and growing and growing. Do you have to be buying memories and blah 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 and adding that to the physical location where you have your server? It doesn't make any sense. That's the reason why most organizations are now migrating from the on-prem database to the cloud base, simply because in the cloud base, you don't really have to have a physical location for that. It's hosted in the cloud. Though some, if not properly deployed, comes with a lot of vulnerabilities. Well, if it has a proper security in place, it is always far better than the on-prem, simply because your data, as your data grows, the elasticity of the cloud-based database will be able to contain and accommodate whatever data you are putting into it. So most organizations are now switching from the cloud-based database to eradicate the needs for buying and putting physical stuff in place all the time, or trying to increase the RAM and memory of whatever they have in place. So that is that. So they may ask you, do you connect to on-prem or do you connect to the database? Clear all my drawings. So so the symbol of a cloud, this is a cloud. This is a cloud. So that means this SQL, we can have the cloud version of it. And this is a report. You can also pull from a report or a file or thereabout. So that's that. So the application, I've explained what an application is. I've explained what a dashboard is, and I've explained what the report is. Power BI is a user-friendly tool offering impressive drag and drop features and self capability. Okay. So what they mean by drag and drop is that here you can see this, that I just drop a visual. It says, do you want to recover anything? I don't want to recover anything because we are not building any dashboard today. So these are the visuals that we have. We have the different one. And once you point onto the chart, it's going to give you the name. And we have a lot of them. And if you want to get more visual, you can click on this and you can import it. Let's do get more visual. So can you see Power BI Desktop and the Power BI service work together, better together, signing to enhance your collaboration and access organization content. Can you see that? So with the email address of your organization, you'll be able to see some enhanced features that have been released by Power BI, and you'll be able to bring in the chart here. That's how it works. So let's forget about that. I'm just gonna close this. Okay. So Microsoft offers 3 types of Power BI platform. We have the desktop, we have the service, and we have the mobile. So for the mobile, it supports the iOS, which is the Apple-like stuff, and the Android devices. So the Power BI service is the SaaS is software as a service. What do we mean by software as a service? There is some organization like, you know what, we are selling you like a software. Like let me put it this way. If you are downloading you are downloading a Power BI desktop, that's like kind of software, right? You have to run it. But in the case of a Power BI service, they have the software online. Once you have an approved and you are an active member of an organization that have purchased a Power BI product from the Microsoft, and by default, you'll be able to access the Power BI service using your organization email address. So the software as a service is a service that multiple people can access, not by running it on their computer, by just accessing it via a website link, like www.powerbi.com or whatever Power BI service should take you to the Power BI service, and you should be able to utilize and leverage whatever functions or capability that it has. So that is that. So this is a simple process flow of Power BI. So we have, I think I've explained this very well. So if you have a question, let me know. Feel free to stop me. If not, so I'm going to proceed to why Power BI. As we learned in the previous session of Power BI tutorial, blah, 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 Power BI is an umbrella term having several different kinds of services under its tutelage. There is a cloud-based business intelligence service called Power BI service. So whenever you see anything BI, it's business intelligence. So there is a cloud-based business intelligence service called Power BI services used to view and share dashboard. A desktop-based reporting interface known as Power BI Desktop. I've shown you that. And another useful service is the Power BI Embedded that runs on an Azure cloud platform, and we can use it for report creation, ETL, and data analysis. I've not used the Power BI Embedded before. So I think since it's going to run on Azure, I want to believe it is a new features that have been added to Power BI. So why do we use Power BI? What are the important? Why is the tool very important in today's business? Yes, we can do real-time analysis in Power BI. For real-time analysis, Power BI can be done by establishing direct connection to the data source, pulling data from the Excel, pulling data from the SQL Server, pulling data from the Amazon Redshift, pulling data from Oracle, pulling data from wherever databases or file or online services it's supported. And you can use custom visualization from a custom visual gallery. And this is the visual, and we can customize it based on wherever dashboard or wherever custom calculated column or measures that we create. We can customize each of these visual. So the next one is you can quickly search for important insight and data set within your data by using the quick insight option. I haven't used that before, but we're going to try that here. I've used the Q&A. I don't know if it is similar to the quick insight, which I believe that should be it, but I don't want to assume. It's also have a question and answer icon here. Let me see if we have that here. The Q&A. Let me see. I think the Q&A should be somewhere here within this. Inside, right? Okay. Okay, so this is the Q and let's see Q and
it's not active.
Okay, so this is the So this is a Q&A, yeah. So that's that, and we can customize our dashboard by putting text box 6, whatever I want to do and the like. I think I might want to update or download the latest Power BI desktop. Yeah, maybe this has been deprecated. So another thing that we can do is establish a live or non-live connection to on-premises data source like SQL Server and use a secure channel to access data through data gateways. This makes Power BI enterprise ready as on-premises connection make data transfer secured and technology scalable and reliable. I've explained that as well. The data gateway is what is going to house and update the data that is coming from the on-prem SQL Server. Because for instance, if you are building your data, you're building your dashboard with data updated to today's date, and you want to build an automated application, you want to say real-time data. So to be honest with you, there is nothing like a real-time data in Power BI, because the most recent data you can get is yesterday's data set. So that will be D-1. D-1 is the most recent data you can get in a Power BI, because I think yesterday, that was what we discussed before we ended our discussion. It takes a while for a data to be present, to be available in the central repository. So the data gateway is going to be pulling data from the central repository after it has been updated. So the data gateway will pull the most recent data and update the dashboard that you built, so that if you get to work tomorrow, you'll be able to see all the transactions that that took place yesterday. That's how it works. So when we say real-time automation is not giving us, as the customer are populating or they are doing transaction, are we pulling the report right away? No. It still have to be stored and scheduled to refresh and pull to the application or Power BI service, so that by the time you get to work the following day, you're going to see the most updated data. You can also connect to other services through Power BI, such as Power SQL Server Analysis Service, SSAS, Microsoft Excel, and the likes. So Power BI is a new age software using the latest technologies such as HTML.50, column stored database, cloud computing, mobile application, and etc. So there's one thing I would probably like to research, and if truly, because based on this HTML.5 column stored database and cloud computing, I will research if Power BI can support a textual an unstructured database, which I believe is supposed to support, because pulling data from CSV or .txt to me is unstructured and textual. CSV means comma separated value, right? And .txt file. Let me show you something. A notepad. Have you ever used a notepad before? Let's do notepad. I have one here. Open. Let me do notepad. Okay. So if I want to save this, if I do save, can you see? Notepad is a .txt file, and which shows is an unstructured data. So I will try and pull one notepad on my computer, on my desktop, and pull it into the Power BI and see how it behaves. So that's that. So the Power BI features, there are some of the most important and interesting features of Power BI. We have the attractive visualization and custom visualization. So let me just be pointing to that. These are the visualization part. These are the visualization. I think the custom should be here. Or custom should be here. And the get data is data source data connection. This is it here. The get data is here. And the data set. So the data set, let me do something. I'm going to pull in, let me see if I should have an Excel here. So let me do this. So this is the data set, right? I can see transform data. So I'm not transforming anything. I'm just going to do load. So if I click on this data, can you see this is the data that I loaded here. It has the average score, average hour, state, and the population. And if I click on the table view, then I have my data table here. So this is the table view. This is the report view. This is the model view. The model view is where we build our relationship. The table view is going to give us like a preview of the table that we brought into our Power BI desktop from using the get data. Using this, we brought in this data table using this get data icon, and we'll pull data from Excel. So then the next one is the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. Here is the dashboard. This rectangular space is a dashboard. The next one is the ad hoc report, ad hoc analysis, the filter. Sorry. So for the filter, we can create a new visual. Okay, sorry. This is the filter. So whatever visual that will create as a filter is going to pop up here. Can you see we have, let me close it. We have the filter part, we have the visualization, and we have the data part. The data part will give you an insight of what are the columns that we have in the data table. And the visualization will give you an opportunity to pick whatever stat you want to use in your dashboard. And whenever you select a filter, your filter section is going to show you probably the business logic or no, the conditions for the filter. So that's that. So the next one is ad hoc reporting, reports and ad hoc reporting. So before you can have a report, then we have to like publish it to the Power BI service. I think I've explained that already. And the trend indicators, what do we mean by trend indicators? The trend indicators can be the trend indicators can be all this. It all depends on the chart you want to use. What they mean by trend is that you want to see the trend in a particular analysis that we conducted. Maybe you want to see the trend in the month from January to all through December, or you want to see a trend in a particular analysis or whatever I want to say. So the major reason why we are even building reports is for us to see trends. What happened last? How can we predict? How can we forecast? What do you get what I'm saying? Because if you are building a report, a transactional report, an organization will use the transactions and the sales at a particular period, at a particular point in time to determine if they are making more profit or if the demand is high, low, or average. It all depends. So the trend indicator can be different things. Like the KPIs, I think what they mean by the trend indicator is like, okay, what are the KPIs? You can build a KPI using writing the measures. A KPI can be like a trend KPI. It all depends on whatever you decide to use. And we also have the online analytical processing, OLEP. I don't know what this means, but I want to assume this online analytical processing have to do with transactional. Most times when we are building a report in the dashboard, it is always transactional simply because we want to see patterns, we want to see trend. And most times they're always coming through an online front end. So the online analytical processing OLEP is going to be probably channeled to what is coming into the fast to everyone, the EDW. Okay, from the EDW. EDW is also like a database. It's all depends. So the navigation pane, we have a navigation pane. These are the navigation. We have different navigation pane here. It all depends on what you want to do. We have the files. We have, can just toy with it. I'm going to do a short video. I'll probably send you a link on how to download the Microsoft Power BI and optimize if you need any help. And that's that. These are navigation pane. We have these as well. And navigate. This is published. I think our publish come up simply because I put in a data set. So That is that. And we have the DAX function and formula. We have the natural language Q&A box. That is what we're trying to show you. Let's see if we have our Q&A now. Okay, we have our Q&A now simply because we bring in our our data set. So this can be hidden. Why is this doing this? So if I expand this double arrow, it's going to expand all this. If you want to work with a very large dashboard section, you can minimize this if you're comfortable with that, and minimize your filter so that you can have a more wider space for you to build your visual. And the next one is DAX function and formula, which we're going to write. Is pretty very similar to how we write our functions, our if statement, our everything in Excel. And I want to tell you something, the DAX function is pretty very similar to writing Excel functions as well. So that's that. So the next one is the Power BI component. So the Power BI component, we have the Power Query. The Power Query is, we use this service to access, search, and transform data from public to local internet data source. So when we are doing our data from transformation, let me do something. Let's see. Let me do, let's do this.
You can go to home.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
I know. Then
yeah, so transform data.
data. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a Power Query editor. So can you see for each of the table, you can do whatever I want to do. I can rename it here. And can you see we have promoted headers, we have navigation, we have the source. Let's click on the cogwheel. So after clicking on the cogwheel, do you know how to read? Okay, can you see? Can you see the file path? The file path is on my C drive, is on my user folder, and the ID of that folder is, or the name of that folder is 1317 on my desktop, and the name of the file is appendtarget.xlxx. The open file as Excel. Can you see that? So the cogwheel is another, if you want to know the source or the file path of what you brought into your Power BI in your Power Query, you just go to your source and click on the cogwheel. So let's click on the navigation cogwheel and let's see. So we also have an option. It's loading. We have the append table and this and that. And I think we have nothing to do here. I'm just going to close out of this. And let's click on the promoted headers. Promote all scalar type. Promote only text and number type. So, okay, promote the first row of data in the table to column headers and promote all scalar type. So it's talking about this by this. You know, when we are creating our database, we always have the column name and the data type and blah, blah, blah. But here, if you select scalar, and maybe peradventure, you discover that the data type you have supposed to be integer. Let's do something. Let me show you something. These are, can you see all the data type that is supported in each of the column? We have the decimal, we have the fixed decimal, we have the O number, we have the percentage, we have the date, we have the time, we have whatever you want to choose. You can choose that. So that's how it works. Because most time, a data column might be in integer O number. So here they have O number. And maybe it was put in, let's say, ABC text. So you have to convert that to your O number so that you'll be able to write your DAX expression when you are doing your data manipulation. And that is how that works. So another thing is this. Let me do this again. So here, if let me show you something. For instance, let me change this to phone number. Let me do add new step. Can you see? It is an error because there is no way a state will be an integer. Now, if you take a look at the navigation plane of the applied step, if I want to recurse back to my initial stage, what I just have to do is that I'm just going to close this. Can you see? So this is another method for you to do your troubleshooting. Maybe probably you want to delete a particular step. So this is the thing. In Power BI Desktop, there is a number of steps you can take here when you are doing your data manipulation. If the data is highly very dirty and you are unable to use the advanced option when you are pulling your data from a SQL server, you know we are pulling from an Excel spreadsheet right now. If, for instance, we connect, let me show you. Okay, if you are able to establish the connection to the AdventureWorks 2019, then I'll show you how to, what I'm trying to explain now. I can write a SQL query to handle my data manipulation from the source. And I can also increase the timeout value whenever I'm pulling from a live database. But if this database you are pulling from an Excel spreadsheet and it is very dirty, or what you are pulling from your live database, you are not good with SQL in doing your data manipulation from SQL, there is a number of steps. This step has a limit. Once you reach the limit of the manipulation you can do in the Power Query, then you'll be able to go to the next step. I've tried it most times and it didn't work. And that is the reason why I used to tell people that Power BI is not a very good ETL tool because it has its own limitation. This is one of the limitations. Well, if you are good with SQL, you should be able to handle the part of the data transformation when writing your code in SQL. Well, if you are not good in SQL, that means you're going to overwhelm your cleaning your data manipulation in the Power Query because this is a manual process, right? That means you have each time your data is pulling, your Power BI report is pulling data from the database, the live database. It's going to take a lot of time before it's going to run. If you do a lot of data manipulation, and this have to go through maybe 100 or 200 steps, or even more, that shows the performance of your report is going to be very slow. And that is the reason why most time, if we are unable to clean the data properly in Power BI, and it's going to hinder the performance of the report at the Power BI service end, it is always good to transform your data in Alteryx and push the reports, the output to Power BI and just build your visual. So the Alteryx is going to be doing the ETL process where the data visual, the visual is only will be done in Power BI, just for optimization's sake. So that is that. Let me close this. So the next one is the Power Pivot. I haven't used Power Pivot before. This service provides tools to model data taken from in-memory data source to use it for analytics. I haven't used that before. And the Power View, this service has many tools to graphically represent data using visual and use them for analysis. I've never used a Power View as well. And the Power Map, it comes with tools and capability to visualize geospatial data or information in the 3D model in a map. You can use this map in Power BI report. I want to believe what they mean by Power Map. We should have a visualization that should be able to handle that. Let's see. This is a field map. And I think a field map is a two-dimensional map, I think. two-dimensional. Let's see.
The other one beside the field, I think should be normal map.
Oh, okay. So when we get to the visualization part of it, we will try and see the difference between the two, between this, and the difference between the where am I? Between this 3D model map, 3D model in a map. So the next one is the Power BI desktop, which I'm pretty very familiar. It is a companion development tool for Power View, Power Query, and Power Pivot. So Power Pivot is in Power BI desktop. Okay, I think maybe by the time we start working on it, we'll see what the Power Pivot is. I'll try and watch the video on YouTube and see what they mean by Power Pivot. You can import data from a data source, pair and transform it, and use the visualization to create reports in Power BI. Yes. And we have a Power BI website. It is a web platform to view and share Power BI apps for substitution. Solution. Using Power BI website, you can create dashboards from report shares and dashboard with other Power BI users and slice and dice data within the Power BI service. The Power BI service enables the sharing of workbooks and data view with other users. The data gets refreshed at regular intervals from the on-prem and cloud-based data source. I've explained this. And I expect you to ask a question now, what is the difference between a Power BI website and a Power BI service? So I want to believe the Power BI service is the Power BI website is part of Power BI service. Simply because you can create dashboard from reports and share the solution. Okay. So if you push a data set to a Power BI website, you can also build you can build a visual in your Power BI website. So this is like a kind of online based version of the Power BI desktop. This we have the online version of the Power BI desktop. Instead of having it on your desktop, downloading it, you can push your data set to the Power BI website and start building your visual in it. But I don't think anyone, for the sake of security purpose, I don't think it's very advisable. So people might not be using this so much. To be frank, Power BI desktop will be easier to use simply because you'll be able to establish connection directly to whatever server you want to use, compared to the Power BI website that might probably need some kind of additional security to be installed by your security team or your IT or network team, your organization. So we also have the Power Q&A, which is the one that we show you not quite long. Is a natural language, just trying to, it's like a kind of an AI based, which I believe very soon is going to have like a co-pilot. What I mean by co-pilot is like like a kind of how to use the Power BI and the Power Q&A better to achieve more results. So we have an AI and we have Microsoft Bing AI Copilot as well. A Copilot is to ensure user, to teach user or to guide user on how to leverage or how to better use the technology. And we have data catalog. So when I was putting this document together, I pulled it from a website actually. I saw something very interesting that says data catalog. So the data catalog option offers capability to search and reuse query. I have a guy that works as a Power BI administrator in my organization. I will ask him what they mean by data catalog. I want to believe this is also a new feature in Power BI, simply because most organizations now are switching to data governance, switching to having a data dictionary, because if we have a data catalog, I don't have to set an ODBC connection from the Power BI report or application and run it against Connect to catalog the data asset. Because in my organization, we always run our Power BI reports and application against Connect, Outreach Connect, to catalog the data asset and create a data dictionary for it. So if a data catalog is in place, I want to research into it. and see and see how we can better leverage it and learn it as another method for us to learn how to do data cataloging, which is going to be a plus for us in this class. And the data management gateway, I've never created that. But I believe if you have a Power BI administrator in your organization, he or she's going to be the one to work with the IT team or the server team to ensure that is a data gateway is being set up for the database object you are pulling from the SQL Server. So that's that. So let's go to Power BI architecture. To have a better understanding of Power BI, we can divide the architecture into three parts. So we have the data preparation, we have the visualization, and we have the business user. So the business user are the one looking at the dashboard that has been published. And the data preparation, so this is a very good thing. Here we have the data warehouse. So there are two ways to this. Look at how this data is flowing. We are preparing and transforming our data in where? Power BI desktop, and we are publishing to a data warehouse, publishing the report to the Power BI to the data warehouse, and the dashboard or the application, the reporting or the scorecard is being accessed by the business user from the visualization part of it. So the visualization part of it is the Power BI service that the Power BI developer will have to give the business user an access permission to access this visualization part. Someone that has an admin role, maybe my fellow data analyst, I will also give that person an admin role so that that person will be able, maybe peradventure I'm on a pay time off and they need to adjust or work on a DAX expression that is not working properly. That person needs to have an access to the data set that is powering this before they will be able to change the content here. So the business users are going to be in three categories, which are, let me show you. They're going to be in different category. The business user, the IT professional. No, that is not what I want to show you. The users, I think we have the admin, and I will look for that. So we have the admin. The admin is going to have like a view permission and an edit permission, be able to read and write. The admin will have that. And you can have a multiple admin for a particular application. You can have all admins, and you can only have one single admin and a multiple viewers. Report viewers are the report consumers. They're just going to see the outlook of the report. They won't have the permission to edit anything. For instance, if you are hired into a new organization, as a data analyst, you're going to be the one you're going to inherit a lot of Power BI application, right? So they need to give you an admin permission before you be able to access the existing report or application. And if you don't have an admin permission to that, that means you won't be able to modify any of the DAX expression, not until someone gives you an admin permission. So in a standard and in a same organization, the best way to do it is that for the sake that people move from one job to the other, it's always good to have minimum of 2 people as the admin. Simply because if one is gone, the other one will be able to assign an admin permission to the replacement as well. So that is it. So why we have the admin role and we have probably the viewer or something role, I think there should be 3. But once we are able to publish to the Power BI service, then I will show you the type of users that we have and Power BI. So the architecture is data preparation. We are trying to clean our data. Once the data is clean, it's being put into the warehouse. And from the warehouse, you can put reports as well. So I want to assume The warehouse is assumed to be the Power BI service. And from this warehouse, we are viewing our dashboard, our reports, and our scorecard. And the person consuming this visualization, report, and scorecard are the users. So that's that. So the data integration in Power BI, you can import data from different kind of data sources, which I shown to you the other time, and convert it to the standard format. When we are doing our data manipulation, we extract, or transform, and we load. After data is integrated into Power BI, it is stored in a common storage area known as the staging area. The staging area is the area that we hold all the data transformation and manipulation that you have done. And once the Power BI integrates the stored data into a secure place, the raw data requires some processing, server processing or cleansing operation, raw data, blah, blah, blah. Later, we apply relevant business rules. This is the most important. Business rule or business logic. On the process data, how do we apply business rule? Is by writing the DAX expression, creating a measure, creating a calculated column, creating a table based on the transformation that was done here. Based on the stage data set. Extract, transform, and load. It is according to our business lead. Yes, the business rule we're going to write is going to base on the problem that the users or the customer want to solve. The transform data is loaded into the data warehouses. This complete a full process of ETL. And for the data presentation, that is where we show our user the visuals that we build, the KPI, the trend lines, and everything for them to be able to make a decision to improve the business operation or to make a decision for maybe resource allocation or pay increase or to predict growth and stuff like that. So users of Power BI. So the users of Power BI, we have these 4 types of users: analysts, business users, IT professional, and developers. Let's learn out some more about them. Analysts. Analysts use Power BI to develop report, dashboard, data models, and study them to discover valuable insight in the data to make informed decisions. Power BI offers a wide range of data sources from which analysts can extract. I was talking about that. The next one is the business users are the common user who study the report and dashboard available to share with them on the Power BI website or mobile application. Business users remain updated with the latest information which help in taking important decisions in time. They can also set an alert notification for any changes or abnormality in the data. Once we publish into the Power BI service, I will show you how to do the alert, how to assign permission, and how to download from an existing from an application, how to download the data set and an existing the data set and the report. We also always have the reports and the data set, how to download that based on the permission that has been set. So IT professionals are mainly concerned with scalability, availability, and security of the data, and also centrally manage all the Power BI service and user. And basically, the IT professional are the ones I tag as the IT team, the server team, or the network team, because they're going to be the one to ensure that the data gateway is working properly and it can scale and it is available for the data to refresh based on wherever time you schedule it to refresh. And the security have to be put in place when they are creating the gateway for the Power BI report. So we also have the developers. So the developers are responsible for the technical work, their key roles, and how to create custom visuals and the likes. So data connections, I think I've shown you all these. I think I've shown you all this for the data connections. the orders and all these I've shown you, and I've explained the different types of basic versions and Power BI, the basic version, Power BI Pro, and the Power BI Premium. So these are the different types of licensing that comes for Power BI. We have the basic version, which we are using, which I'm using now for this class, and we have the Power BI Pro. I have the Power BI Premium license at my place of work. I can do anything, though I'm not the Power BI administrator, but they gave me an access to a lot of stuff just for my job because I pull in data from anywhere. So that is that. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording. Then I will show you how to download the Power BI desktop. Please, can you put in a yes? Because I want to believe that Musti and Madam Fumi should be the only one that is unable to, that doesn't have a Power BI desktop yet.